we are going to kick it off here and we are going to have John Hannes come online and he is going to talk all about membership and how much fun being a Rotarian is. So, John, take
Thank you very much. It's good to see everybody. I'm going to share a couple of slides here and then hopefully be able to have some time to open it up for a little bit of conversation. But I'd like to really quickly describe who I am and what I do and what team I'm a part of at Rotary International. As Gretchen mentioned, my name is John Hannes. I'm a member of Rotary International's staff on a team called Membership Growth and Club Experience. And if any of you have been in office before or held any other positions, you might realize that there is Rotary International staff, or remember that. Some of you who might be new to Rotary or new in these types of positions might not know that. So I do want to share a slide here. We're headquartered in Evanston, Illinois, so not too far away from where you're located. But we do have six other offices around the world, and you can see them listed here on the screen. I bring that up because it's important to know that there are about 800 people around the world who work for you and with you, not just in membership, but in supporting all elements of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. My team in particular, though, like I mentioned, is called Membership Growth and Club Experience. We used to be called Club and District Support, and we also used to be called Membership Development, and then last fall merged into this new group, which for short we say MGX. And the main goals that we have as a team is to drive Rotary International's global membership activities, but in a regional way. We help our clubs and districts achieve growth and engagement and club experience goals. And then I'll kind of explain a little bit further in the next slides, this third bullet point here. I'll start by mentioning that your team is made up of a club experience officer, somebody who can strengthen your club, advise on governance, really focusing on leadership development, focusing on addressing problems before they escalate into much bigger problems, things that keep your experience safe as an officer, but then also the club experience safe as well. We want to support a healthy and positive club culture or the club experience. We were super clever in naming our team. The other person on the team is the membership growth officer. This person really focuses on what happens after a club gets established or checks in with a club. Our goal is every few years to make sure that things are happening steadily. But just because we're doing our proactive outreach doesn't mean that you can't reach out to us and say, I'm struggling in this area. What resources are available? And then there's somebody like me who's in a supervisor position, and I support not only you, but the two people that I just mentioned and help them make sure that they're up to date on everything to be able to present back to you. So why is this important? Why did we merge? We wanted to make sure that we were one unified team, that we were no longer working side by side, but together in making sure that you have the best possible experience moving forward. So the best way to find us is through this website address. If you'd like to bookmark it and utilize it throughout your year, that would be great. I'm going to put it here in the chat. Just rotary.org/representatives. You'll type in your district number, and then our names will pop up. I said this to the live group. I'm going to say it to this group as well. Our role is really meant to advise, but we can also be the bad guy if we need to be. We don't have to wake up tomorrow and see your club members face to face. We don't have to interact with them week to week. And when you're in your position as president, you might be put in a weird spot. You're working with friends, you're working with counterparts and colleagues, people that you have to maintain relationships with in a different way. So if it's helpful for you to say, I checked in with Rotary International staff, and here's what they said, let us know. We can type something up, make it sound really nice and firm and really policy driven, and make sure that it's in your hands to help you, again, with your day-to-day operations. So some of the work that we're trying to accomplish is to really think about Rotary International's global presence, but my team works here in the United States, and we're trying to look through data based on surveys. So some of you might have received the member experience survey in the last couple of weeks. I think it's open through the end of April. If you haven't had an opportunity to fill that out, please do, because it helps us get data like this. We look at Rotary clubs, we look at Rotaract clubs, and ask questions like, why did you join? And then we follow up with, why did you stay? And so, in looking at the data that we got back from Rotary clubs, we see that people joined for, and I should preface this by saying, I don't love that we ask all of the above because everybody seems to choose all of the above. We get it. But if we're drilling down past the purple, you see that the main reason that people say they join Rotary clubs is for friendship and also community service. And that reason for staying actually has increased. Those things get even more weight. They become more important to a Rotarian. Based on the same survey, Rotaractors have said that they are looking for leadership development and professional connections. And over time, the reason that they stay has shifted a little bit to really focus again, still on leadership development, but community service becomes really important. And so, in examining this type of thing, we've created some support documents and some exercises that I wonder if we can steal a little bit of time to do. Um, Joe, I see your note here. I'll try to follow up with you in just a moment about the survey. We take a look at all of the information that's been provided to us and really have highlighted these five elements here about what makes up the club experience. We hear it involves meeting enjoyment, the connections and belonging or the sense of belonging, meaningful service activities, personal growth, but then also confidence in club leadership. And this isn't quite just meaning you as the individual and the confidence in your leadership, but also the ability to become a leader yourself. And so the tools that we've created and that we've released, of which we have a lot, I'll put a link in the chat in just a few minutes. Um, they're designed to really support each of these elements through different exercises. Some of them are long, some of them are short, but the overall goal is that it's not one product that's going to fix everything or support everything. It's a combination of. And that's where a team member like your membership growth officer or your club officer really comes into play. We take this massive menu and try to curate it to your experience, what you're describing to us as a need. One tool that I really like to promote and really encourage you to take a look through if you haven't already is the Club Health Check. I don't know if you want to raise your hand and say that you've participated in this activity before. I've got a QR code here, and I'll make sure that you have access to these slides afterwards so you can follow up and take a look. This document is really uh, as it sounds. It's sort of like a doctor's appointment. It's a checkup on the health overall of your club. Are you gaining new members? Are you stagnant? Are you having trouble retaining members? Do you have a strong PR plan? All of those elements have checklists in this document. And it asks you just flat out, what are you doing right now? And if you have any check marks that are unmarked, the next page will explain to you a few different resources that are meant to help address that symptom, if you will. You don't have to do the whole thing. You could do it in parts. In fact, I recommend doing it in parts. Sometimes I recommend doing this in place of a canceled speaker at a club meeting. It's good to pull this type of thing out in front of the club and say, all right, let's check in on ourselves at this point. You could get a committee. You could rely on your membership committee or different groupings of people specifically to focus on the health of your club. Another tool that I like to refer to is this one, strengthening your membership. So where the club health check really focuses on a number of different areas, strengthening your membership really focuses on a few key elements. One being new and prospective members, another being your existing members, and then another being the people who leave. It's unfortunate, but we do have people that leave the organization, and we want to know why. What drove them away, or did they just lose interest? And how can our clubs create a better experience for them or somebody like them so that in the future we don't have that loss? There's a couple of exercises in here that I like to pull out, and maybe if there's, I think I have time to have a couple people on mute and share some of their thoughts here on some of these questions. These are two of the three elements that are in that booklet, and so I felt like these were the most appropriate. here in this conversation. Each of these questions is actually a full-length page. So what we're seeing here represents 6 pages out of the booklet, which is why I think it's important to take it in parts. The first series of questions that I'd like to draw attention to are attracting new members. What are you doing as far as finding prospective members? How do you welcome them? And how can your club be more diverse? And I want to pause for just a second and recognize that here in the States, diverse has a very specific meaning sometimes. A lot of people's first thought tends to be about skin color or about gender. But what we want to dive into in this document and other documents that we have about diversity is the whole diversity of diversity. So it could be things like able-bodiedness. It could be things like people who have vision impairment or hearing impairment. Is the building that you meet in accessible? Is the front door accessible, but the meeting room inaccessible? Are the lights too dark? Are the screens too bright? Those types of things go into conversation. And then the second half is what to do with existing members. But before we get there, if we could open up, or if somebody wants to raise their hand and share a couple thoughts on this left side of the screen, the orange side, I'd be happy to hear what you are working on in your club. And right now, I think I see just a few people at a time, so forgive me if I don't catch your hands up. But feel free to unmute Megan. I see your hand up.
Hi, we are a small club in Western North Carolina, very small community. Um, and we are primarily women, who are active members. So we're trying to like attract more male members, um, and people in different businesses. We have a lot of nonprofit, people, but any suggestions?
I think that's a very interesting problem because we usually hear about the reverse, that it's a male club or an all-male club. So that's amazing. Um, I think that it's what I'm hearing is maybe just like the need to continue to reach out, really show that the people that you're trying to recruit are of value and that they have a place in the club itself. Do you invite people to your meetings or are you inviting them to service activities or other experiences beyond just the meeting itself?
Yeah, so right now quarterly we have a Discover Rotary during our weekly meetings, and we do invite other people from the community.
Okay. Do you usually find people are coming or is it mostly just your membership coming?
Well, we actually hosted one today, and there
Okay.
were, like I said, we're a small group, but we had three ladies, still more ladies. But yeah, we do have people come, and we have speakers from other organizations in the area that come and tell us about what they're doing. Um, but yeah, just reaching out to men in our area and different age ranges too. I think I am probably one of the youngest in um our group as well. So, really reaching people even younger than me because um it's a great opportunity to even for me to involve my children in service projects and things like that is a great opportunity as well.
I think there's a couple of opportunities that I'm hearing. Like one, you invite other organizations to come and speak to you. So I wonder if there's an opportunity to ask that individual, are they interested in membership? But also, are they aware of anybody in their life or their organization that's also looking for this kind of connection? You've spent a lot of time getting to know them. Maybe the reverse can happen. They can get to know you too. Look to family members, look to other people at your work, and talk about the importance of your club and what you're doing for your community. I don't know. Does anybody else have any thoughts about this? Again, this is one of the only times that I feel like I've heard people say or heard somebody say we have too many women in the club and none of men. I see a couple hands up. I see Lydia's hand first. Do you want to open your mic and share?
I learned about Rotary from my husband when we were dating at the time, had no idea what Rotary was. And I started off just coming in, helping him volunteer at the beer tent when we had our weekend citywide event. And Rotary had, they sold the beer and the wine, and that was a fundraiser, but that was how I got into it. My project for this summer when we sell our soft pretzels at the farmers market. My plan is to go to the different farmers market businesses and see if they would be interested in just at least volunteering or showing up to see what Rotary is about. Because I didn't know what Rotary was before, meeting my husband. So it's a little idea there.
It's sort of incremental learning, right? It wasn't like you were
Yeah.
tossed right in, but you were aware of it through somebody, got more aware of the activities that it performed, and then sought out membership. Or okay. Hanani, I apologize if I said your name wrong, but I saw your hand go up. Do you want to add to that?
You did all good, John. Yes. So, Megan, a couple of thoughts that came to me regarding our club having more women, not a lot of guys. Is uh my first question is, how is your community? Is there another group that maybe is heavy on the male figures, and then it just creates a conflict, or like they are already doing something else, that's why they don't attend yours? And if that's the case, they might be looking for female members as well, or how can you intermingle both? And you mentioned about you inviting other people to come and be speakers for you. You could also put your Rotary Club available to other organizations for you to be their program and talk more about it. I thought it was very interesting, John, that you shared that um, a lot of people join Rotary because of community service, but that's the main reason why they stay. So it's interesting to hear how there's a lot of nonprofit organization members being part of the club. So I would look for other community services or serving opportunities that might be more attractive for men somehow. Like there was the Build a Bed or something like that that we talked about yesterday, or I don't know, a March Madness watch party, or I'm sure you will be creative enough to come up with good ideas as well.
And I think it's about experimentation. That's what I'm hearing you share with us. I don't know, Megan, if you wanted to respond or if we want to hear from Rhonda first.
Yeah, that's a lot of great ideas, and I really appreciate it. Um, and definitely something I'm gonna take back to other members of our club to discuss. Um, yeah, and I think we do have male members, just not active during our meetings. They do get involved in some of the projects, but yeah, I like the idea of a more masculine based projects and activities. It's great. Thank you.
As long as you find some balance there too, you don't want to lose the identity for the other people as well. And I also wonder if if there's an opportunity to do a simple survey, just sort of say like, hey, we notice you're involved this way, but not that way. What would make this experience more attractive for you? Is it time? Is it can you make one meeting a month where you're there present and so on? Like give smaller goals. And the same thing for expanding your membership. It doesn't have to be 20 new people overnight. um, can one new guy or male identifying person make sense this quarter? And then next quarter, find another and another and another. Rhonda had a couple of thoughts too. Do you want to share those?
Well, first of all, I want to ask Megan what part of Western North Carolina she's from, because that's where I'm from. Western
Oh,
North
okay.
Carolina.
Yeah, we're in the mountains in Newland, or Avery County is our
Yes,
club.
yes. I'm in Haywood County, so
Okay.
we're even further west. But my thought, I guess it's a question, is how does a rural county, because I'm assuming yours is a rural county,
Yes.
differ from the suburbs or a county that's more heavily populated? That's my question to you, because I think it would be easier possibly to recruit members in larger counties?
It's a good question. I can only speak anecdotally from my own experience. I belong to a club in Chicago, near Wrigley Field, so near where the Cubs play. But we're not a 200 member club. We're a club in an area that has all kinds of other opportunities for potential volunteering. So Chicago has its own Chicago Cares website, but there's also uh, Kiwanis. There's also Lions was born in Chicago too. So like there's all these things that we're competing with. So for us in my club experience, we really needed to figure out how big was too big, how big was enough. And so we landed on a number that felt very healthy and maintainable. Um, I imagine it could be very similar to a more rural county experience where, um, again, you can't just grab 75 new members every year. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. But what could make sense incrementally? I wonder if there's somebody else here in the chat, though, or in the conversation who is part of a more rural or sort of widespread county experience that has some insight. And if you can't think of it live, that's okay. We could put it in the chat too for some thoughts and let that be active. Lydia, I see your hand up again. Yeah.
I came from Waukegan to the other
Hmm.
side of Illinois where we are extremely rural. And
Hmm.
the two main clubs that I know of in our area is the Lions and Rotary. So most of the time, if we're lacking in members, more than likely they're Lions Club members. So we try not to step on their toes, but it is harder because we're surrounded by farms and yeah, it's an aging community. So most of our members are seniors. So trying to get the ones in my age bracket and lower are very hard with families and just work and time.
And I think that's a good thing to be aware of, that the world continues to move forward, but a lot of times clubs get really, really stuck in traditions or sort of in a comfortable space. And it doesn't mean that I want anyone to feel uncomfortable all the time, but really take some time to go through some of these tools that we're showing to examine how the club is doing. If you're comfortable where you are, that's great. If you want to grow just by a little bit, also great, but don't try to overshoot and or over aim for something. Find manageable goals and incremental things that can happen over time. One of the goals is really sitting down and examining who you are as a club and how you represent yourself to your community. So one of the tools in this document that we're talking about really focuses on public image and asks some more pointed questions, because sometimes um, you kind of have to become a salesperson in a way. You have to be able to talk about your club and what you offer, and that can be attractive. But beyond that, you also have to be able to deliver it. And that kind of leads me to this next set of questions. So I don't know if I'm still sharing screen or if I need to do that again.
Still
But I
sharing.
want to show, oh, go ahead.
You're still sharing.
Still sharing. Okay, so the purple side of the screen is talking about offering value to existing members. How do you better engage people? What can make the meetings more fun and more exciting? And how do we raise awareness about the club in its community? Carmen, I'm so sorry. I saw your hand go up earlier,
That's
and
all
I
right.
don't know if I caught you. Do you want to add to the
Yeah,
previous?
I was just going to
Okay.
say that I learned some in our breakout session. I had learned some new ideas about having people write down their favorite song and then, like, in a couple weeks later or something, then we'll sing it karaoke style or something like that. So I heard some good ideas to try to make our meetings a little more interesting and add some fun in there.
That's a really strong idea. I think another thing you could do, if anybody has like a Spotify account, you could ask people their favorite songs, and maybe that's the entry music when the meeting's being set up. Or maybe that's the soundtrack for an event that you're doing. And then they connect with the thing that they've said. Joanne, your hand's up.
Yes, I just wanted to say it's very gratifying to see so many younger people who are part of Rotary. And I'm just curious as to, because you're the people that we want to attract to clubs, what is it that inspired you to join Rotary?
Community service.
Community service.
Yeah, it's the community service for me. I mean, by, you know, so for me, my position and my job, I have a spot in Rotary and my job pays for it. And so when I came into the role, I was just kind of given the membership. But I think I said in one of the breakouts yesterday that for me, the story about Rotary that really clicked is that, I really feel that the best way to build community is through community service. The best way to feel connected to your community and to feel connected to the people within your community is to do service projects with them. And so, yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. Stephen, you have your hand up too.
Yeah. So, I joined Rotary when I was 24. And really what kind of triggered me to join was, I was a Rotaractor before that. I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student and I was an Interactor. And the one good thing is, so my best friend in high school got me to join Interact. And then I learned about Rotary Youth Exchange, and the club that sponsored me in Canada, to go to Germany followed up with me, and they like kept engaging me. So when I joined the Rotaract Club, we did partnerships there, and then once I kind of graduated university, I moved on to the local Rotary Club and been there ever since. And I think it's important that we have all these like Rotary alumni, and even if they're young and they probably won't join Rotary for 10 years, if you keep that engagement up, and sometimes people move, but you got a lot of people out there you can engage with, and they know about Rotary, so it's an easier sell sometimes.
It's almost a competition, right? Like I think with social media, I think with other things that people are involved with, there's just this overwhelming amount of opportunity to participate or maybe passively participate too. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen over the years Facebook fundraising. You can chip in $5 and make a difference, but then I'll go back to scrolling. And so part of what we're trying to further talk about when we talk about club experiences is what are we able to offer that a virtual thing like that can't offer, or what's our edge? And so in the club that I belong to, rather than the whole organization, I could speak again anecdotally, we really try to focus on our storytelling, and not just the telling, but also living up to the promises that we make to everybody. Sometimes we'll do outreach to the members that we haven't seen before. We do handwritten notes sometimes. And our club, I should say, ranges from people in their 20s all the way up to their 80s. We've got like the wide range. What we're lacking on is something that we're going to be working on, which are like the recently retired and some former Rotaractors that we want to get in. Ben, I saw your hand go up, and then I saw Erica.
Yes, I can't remember who it was who talked about getting more males in their club. We're a rural club. We're a rural club as well, and where we've had, of course, we were originally mostly male, but we've got a lot of ladies now. But there are some heavily male industries in our county, such as Louisiana Pacific, Duke Power, and many corporations want their people to to engage with civic clubs. So that might be an area where your club can talk to some of these male dominated industries. And our particular club, we have a 2-for-1 commercial membership, where it's cheaper for about half price for the second person to join from the industry. And, that way they can alternate coming in and that sort of thing. But that's, those male dominated industries, whether it's mining or construction or power or, some industrial places, is a good place to recruit male members, because they will, if you can get to the plant manager or the personnel manager, they will encourage their and maybe even pay for the membership.
Thank you for that, Ben. Erica, I want to hear from you too.
Hi, thank you. So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I actually am a Rotarian of like 2, 3 years now. I'm still kind of a baby to it. But I actually came into Rotary because I was volunteering with another program and I met someone who's a Rotarian and they invited me to the club. The rest is history. So that was my thought to the young lady looking for members, especially male members. So our club does Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So it's a good way to meet, males, especially if you get in contact with the site coordinator. So I encourage you to go to your school system, and maybe speak with your not your social, your counselor for the children because they know volunteers, right? They have people that come through the school that work with children. And I think that's another way too of getting great members who want to be involved because they're already involved. So just letting them know about Rotary is an addition to, I think, your life and your program.
I really appreciate that. And I think some of what could also be helpful is just asking people. You mentioned being asked to join, but also really identifying those potential leaders and saying to them, what do you want? And what can our club do to support that idea? You'll hear in other conversations that Rotary is sort of like this think tank almost, or like a place where even the smallest idea can turn into a big global project. So everything starts from one little spark. And if your club can be that environment for someone, that's great. Megan, you talked about having your children involved as well. And I think that's another model that we're starting to see family memberships. Discounts for more than one person from a family being a part of the club, as long as their district dues and Rotary dues are covered, making it a little bit easier because people are giving up their time to be in that third space between work, their family, and their career. There's like this other area that exists for them to also find connection and membership or friendship. And so being respectful of their time is important. And maybe there's like an opportunity to create more service activities that involve children as well. A club that I belonged to for a little while, I helped them get chartered, and then I went back to my original club. We started doing park cleanups near the playground. So the whole family would show up, but we were also showing the children of our members, you're taking care of this thing that you're also enjoying at the same time. And so I think there's like a little bit there. I'm realizing that I'm keep on talking, and I got a couple more slides, and I want to get us back on track for time. So thank you everybody for sharing. But the reason that I bring up these two topics is that we as an organization have seen some trends happen. Typically, with both clubs and members, we see people lose interest maybe after 2 years or 3 years. And that could be related to some of the things that I talked about on the previous set of slides about the club experience overall. That maybe they were promised something and then that promise wasn't really being fulfilled. Or maybe they thought they were joining a networking group, but it turned out to be more of a service group, which is not awful, but it just might not live up to the expectation that they had set. So we have some surveys that are also translated into Google Forms. So you could either do a physical one or do an electronic one to survey potential members and people that have maybe been visiting your club but haven't really committed. That same survey can be adapted for your brand new members to say, what do you want out of us? And then the important part of that is to then follow through. We have another survey for existing members as well, because once we get people past maybe that third year, they're a little bit locked in. But as we get closer to maybe 10 years of membership, it gets a little bit harder to keep them engaged. What did they want out of the experience at this point? Can the club change? Can they be put into a leadership role? Can they be a mentor? All sorts of ways of engaging them can be found out through just asking what people want. This next slide is important. I think I said this a little bit earlier, but none of this is a race. There's going to be a lot of pressure. You can see this big button behind me. You're going to hear about this over the next 5 years or 4 years, that we do have a pretty significant goal of raising Rotary International's membership by about 100,000 members between now and 2030, so that we reach the 1.25 million Rotarian mark. We also have a goal of maintaining or increasing our Rotaract membership so that we don't fall below 125,000 Rotaractors worldwide. Why 125 and why 1.25? Because in 2030, Rotary's 125th anniversary takes place. All of that's said, but I do want to emphasize that none of this is a race. My goal is to meet these goals, but your goal really needs to be about incremental change, making sure that you're not growing too fast, that you're not losing track of your existing members, that you're creating this really sound environment that people want to continue to coming back to. And if they don't want to continue coming back, identifying the reasons why and making small incremental adjustments. So who can you rely on? You can rely on your district leaders, your assistant governors. There are regional leaders as well, people who oversee larger masses of land, who maybe you've heard from throughout this weekend, not weekend, this week. Rotary International staff, but then also each other. The people that you've interacted with here in this space, hopefully you're finding ways to share contact information with each other if you've heard some good ideas. If not, maybe there's an opportunity later to connect or stay connected that way. But really test out your ideas in a group of like-minded people before you go and test them out in your club. So just remember that Rotary itself is a membership organization. It's important to think about the why people join, why people stay, and unfortunately, why people leave. Think about the club experience because that really does drive membership retention, but also growth. Growth needs to be intentional and incremental. And that is also a team sport. Again, if you have any questions on this, feel free to use that link that I dropped into the message earlier to find your direct representatives, because I know we have people from all over the place. And then I'm going to leave another link in here, and hopefully this will help you show why we have people like me who help curate, because this page, rotary.org/membership, has about 150 different resources for you. And I don't want any of you to waste a lot of time flipping through every single one of them. Let me do that. But get comfortable with this page because it really does break it down into bite-sized increments that help address your needs. I know I've gone just a little bit over time, so I do want to say thank you so much for participating. More importantly, thank you for saying yes, whether you felt like you had a choice to become your club's president or not. The truth is, you did have the opportunity to say no, and for some reason you didn't. So I think that's very important and something to celebrate. And I just want you to know that from the organization itself, we really honestly appreciate the fact that you did say yes and the fact that you showed up to this type of event and are interacting with each other in the way that you are. I wish you all the best of luck this next year, whether it's your first time or your fifth time being president. And hopefully you're helping to create an environment for other people to follow in your footsteps as well. And with that, I think I turn it back over to Gretchen. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, John. This was awesome. Thank you. It was so cool to hear, see, love the interaction for sure. I know people are going to go away with even more ideas. So thank you so much. Appreciate the time again.